Hello and welcome to Tuco Political Analysis with me, Samuel Meso, and today I am with Dr. Richard Bosire, a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, teaching political science and public administration. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm well.
Yes, thank you.
We will talk about the current political landscape, and it's quite hot. It's quite hot at the moment. We are barely a month to the general elections. Does NASA stand a chance this time round? Does Raila himself, or even NASA itself, stand a chance?
Thank you for the question. I would say that when you get into the political field, you are hopeful that you stand a chance of winning. And I would think that NASA stands a chance to win. If one looks at the opinion polls that have been released recently, if we go by that as a basis of answering your question, these elections might be dead heat, in the sense that NASA is really competitive. It's as competitive, it's I think more competitive than it was in the last elections, and they stand a chance to win. And either side, it may go either side, but they have a chance. They stand a chance to win the elections.
Do you think the fact that now we have Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi together, do you think the Luhya vote, where the Luhya community will vote in one pattern, or are they going to be disintegrated again now that we have Bungoma governor like Ken Lusaka there supporting Jubilee, and we also have CS Eugene Wamalwa? Is the Luhya community going to vote as a bloc this time round?
I would bet that the Luhya community will be more consolidated towards NASA than it was last elections, when Musalia stood as a presidential candidate, ending up taking part of a huge chunk of the vote, and also that kind of disunity that was there at that time is no longer there. My hope is that the Luhya are going to vote more or less as a bloc. Jubilee might be able to get away with something, but it might not be significant, so to speak. Ken Lusaka has only influence in Bungoma County and nowhere else in the region. Wamalwa, Eugene Wamalwa, has been in politics for a while. But I think he knows, and people know, that he could not win even a parliamentary seat in 2013. And his influence might not be really significant for Jubilee. This is one of the leaders that is paraded to show the Luhya that they are part of the government, because he's from a legacy of the former Vice President Eugene Wamalwa, and therefore he thinks, Jubilee might have picked him because he could have some clout, but it looks like he might not have a great impact in having a good proportion or a big proportion, chunk of votes for Jubilee. We have seen them in a meeting just recently when President Uhuru was in actually was in Bungoma, and at that time, former Budalangi MP came up and said that is yes, Ababu Namwamba come and saying Luhya leaders are not just Wetangula and Musalia, but they are also leaders in their own right, and they'll be able to support the government of the day, and they'll get votes for the government of the day. But I doubt if they will be they are as popular as Musalia, who has a party called Amani, and Ford Kenya with Wetangula. Most likely
the parties have made them equal principles.
Yeah, they're equal principles, and they're really within NASA, not in the background, but right at the center of things. Most likely, Luhya are going to vote for them or to support them.
Talking about Namwamba,
yes.
Does Namwamba stand a chance really, or he's going to be toppled by the current ODM candidate who used to be an MP for Budalangi.
I know Wanjala. Wanjala
Wanjala.
used to be, actually used to be even an assistant minister in the government before. And he's a seasoned politician. The way the ground is, if you talk to people from Busia, Busia is one of the areas where, if you watched when President Kenyatta went there was heckling, and President Kenyatta was very calm, and he just said, yes, let me just say what I want to say, just allow me, it's democracy, allow me to say it. And people were really not are not in support of Jubilee, so to speak. Namwamba is likely to lose this election. He's likely to lose this election. Really high likelihood that Namwamba will not come back as an MP.
Okay, let's go back to Jubilee and NASA now. What is the advantage that you think Jubilee has over NASA and vice versa?
Let me start with NASA. NASA have not been in government, so it is easier for the public to judge them, to be less critical of NASA. Of course, Jubilee wants to bring them into government and say they have been ruling for cumulatively 100 years. But it has to show that, oh, you are also in government. But they have never been the leader of government. We know that Raila was the prime minister, and Uhuru was deputy prime minister. Musalia was also deputy prime minister. Kalonzo was vice president in the same government, the government that they so-called Nusu Mukate. And whatever credit that goes to went to Kibaki, the thick highway, and other developments that we have seen in this country, better economy, could also be credited to Raila Odinga and the group, because the group was in government during that time. Now, which means then people will not be that critical of the NASA candidate as they are critical of the Jubilee candidate. Uhuru Kenyatta has been in government, he's still president. When people fault him for the economy, the downturn of the economy, they blame the public actually feel the weight or the pinch of hunger in this country. Although the vagaries of weather were not favorable to us, but still he has many questions to respond to. Look at even the issues of corruption. Look at the issues of actual corruption has skyrocketed since Kibaki left office, and it seems like nobody really cares much in government. The president at one time said he didn't have any option. He did not have any option. Do we want him to shoot people? But the president has something to do to fight corruption. Transparency and accountability, which now is on their manifesto, on the Jubilee manifesto. It's just but words which members of the public will not trust at all, because they were in the other manifesto and nothing has been done. We are more corrupt in this country now than ever before. So people will be judging Jubilee on what they can see, what they can directly relate with the leader of Jubilee, that's Uhuru Kenyatta.
Can the current economic situation, there is no unga in supermarkets, unga is expensive, there is no sugar, you find sugar and it is expensive. Can the current economic situation work against Jubilee?
Definitely. There are some people who have actually, if, let me say this, if Kenyans will vote on the basis of issues, then Jubilee will go home. The lifeline for Jubilee, of course that can also be said on the ODM side to some extent, is that there is ethnic alliances, ethnic voting that takes place, people voting on the basis of their ethnic group. But if they vote on the basis of issues, this is a serious matter. We know for sure, and the Kenyans will tell you that when Uhuru Kenyatta took over, you people remember, the price of milk was affordable. Milk was an affordable commodity, which is basically consumed by every child in this country, and every person, every household gets to use milk. One could not understand why, as we speak, milk is more expensive than V-Power, than petrol. And who is the person who sells most of the milk in this country? It's Uhuru Kenyatta. And this is an issue that the president would have dealt with like 2 years ago, so that it doesn't come up during these campaigns. So there are issues. The economic issues are important issues. They are pertinent issues in this election, and people are asking these questions. Some supermarkets are almost closing down. These are issues that we cannot wish away. Unemployment, we are very sure about unemployment. Unemployment is a big problem in our country today than ever before. There could be economic issues related to unemployment, but Jubilee will have to deal with those issues as they are raised by the public.
Right, away from the economic issues, I could just take you back to politics again. Looking at Isaac Ruto, Governor Isaac Ruto, he has got a very tough battle ahead of him. Joyce Laboso could topple him, according to how people are saying out there. But the competition is very, very stiff. Yet he is on this other side of the political divide. Do you think he's bringing something on the table of NASA?
What I would think, there are two things here. The first thing is, what do you believe in? Yeah, what do you believe in? Ruto could have easily gone into Jubilee and maybe be defeated in the nomination, because actually William Ruto, the DP, does not want Isaac Ruto. And that rivalry between the two is what is generating heat at the local level. But one question one needs to ask in our politics in this country is, how is politics local and how is politics national? Now, when you go into an election in Bomet, are the people going to vote in accordance to who is affiliated to who? Or are they going to vote on the basis of their local interests and the popularity of their local leaders, either on the basis of their development record or whichever basis that they might use? And I would think on the basis of local politics, Isaac Ruto has been governor, has been an MP in the area, and therefore he has also had almost 5 years now as governor, which he has done quite a bit of work that he can associate himself with. And of course he will be attacked having not done certain things right. But also Laboso has her own issues people are raising, to the extent that at the end, most likely, these two leaders might have to fall back on their clan alliances, clan politics. And I'll pass through the place recently. If what I saw is something to go by, towards Laboso's place, you find her photo pictures and posters all over the place. As you move towards Bomet, which is now town, which is now Isaac Ruto's place, you see most posters are Ruto's, and you hardly see Laboso's. So I would think that there will be a division in the voting. Some supporting some clans, supporting theirs from Sotik, who is Laboso, and those towards Bomet will support Isaac Ruto.
Can Isaac Ruto's votes translate to Raila Odinga's? Or will they vote for Isaac Ruto but vote for Uhuru?
It is possible. It is possible. I would say it's possible because you have seen in the Rift Valley there is kind of a silent uprising. People are and seem to understand some issues, national issues, and they have brought it to the national politics or the local politics. For instance, the rivalry between Isaac and William is very clear, and most likely the supporters of Isaac are likely to vote for NASA, because by extension voting for Uhuru Kenyatta, they are again voting for William Ruto, who has antagonized them at the local level within their local politics.
What will happen if Isaac Ruto emerges the winner? How will it look like? Will he appear now like a kingpin?
Most likely, I mean, take the scenario if NASA wins the elections, and Isaac also wins election as governor. What do you think about that scenario? The scenario is that Ruto will be enjoying the support and actually will be the contact person, most likely the contact person for NASA in the region, most likely, because there's no other senior politician from the Kalenjin country in support of ODM. I mean, not ODM, but of NASA, but by extension of ODM and other affiliate parties. So most likely, it's going to be the kingpin in the region.
On the flip side,
Kanu has Gideon Moi, Jubilee has William Ruto, and NASA definitely has Isaac Ruto.
On the flip side, if he fails,
there is also something.
NASA fails also to
there is something. If he fails, and if NASA misses it, and he also misses it, then back to the drawing board. He will have to plan for another time to rise up. But if he still stays with NASA, if NASA is now the opposition, he will still remain relevant as the opposition leader on the NASA side from the region.
Okay, now as we finish, let us go to this headache of the independent candidates.
Yes.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has tried as much as he can not to endorse certain Jubilee candidates, like what we saw in Meru. He failed to endorse Kiraitu Murungi, maybe to avoid some clashes or maybe to avoid loss of support.
Yes.
But on the other side, Raila Odinga has actually urged Siaya, he was in Siaya recently, and he told Siaya residents that he wants 6 peace. What do you think about this? Is 6 peace undemocratic?
Let me say this. Uhuru Kenyatta went to Murang'a last week and Kiambu, and they said 6 peace. They said it. So it depends on where they are. When he went to Meru, what I want to say here is that Meru seems to be supporting Jubilee as well as supporting NASA. Originally, Meru was more or less purely a Jubilee zone, but it is changing. So that change in itself has prompted President Kenyatta to change tact when he went there. He would have missed more votes if he said he's supporting Kiraitu Murungi, because Kiraitu perhaps is not the most popular on the ground. I think it's about also 50-50 with the current governor. So most likely the current governor will come back. And if you want people, you know, there are those, the current governor has said openly that he supports Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election. Kiraitu is saying the same thing. So if you say 6 peace, then you are alienating a governor who is the incumbent, at the same time who is likely or who has quite a huge following within the community. So it's being strategic. Raila Odinga tried it in Siaya, and you saw what happened. People are not willing to do it. People actually protested. Some threw some stones, threw some nasty words, and said, "We don't want that. Yeah, let us local politics." I mentioned something about local and national. Let us play local politics the best we know.
They say we have your votes up there.
Yes, let us play. Let us play our best as we know. Up there, you know, we have no problem. We will give you our vote. Uhuru could get the same message from Kiambu, could get it from Murang'a, could get it from, today he's in Kirinyaga. I don't know if he's going to say he's working with Waigoro, or he's going to work with Mother Karua, who is also has declared that she will support Uhuru's re-election. Both of them have done so. Which means most likely Kenyatta is not going to side with either of the two.
He's being very careful.
Yeah, he's going to be very careful because he's a politician who understands the votes that are here remain. If I do the antagonize these fellows, I might have to lose some. I should be ready to lose some of the votes. Yeah. So, but back to the question you were asking about whether supporting uniform voting from top to the bottom, the 6 piece, so-called 6 piece, is democratic or not democratic. People should be asked to vote, but to vote in whichever way. But ultimately, the decision to vote for whoever you vote for is yours as a voter. Nobody in the booth. But again, it's not also very good, I would say, when leaders want to dissuade people from exercising their democratic right and vote for whoever they want, because that's the interference now that comes about when you say 6Ps and you are an opinion leader in the society, you are a presidential candidate, people don't want to be dictated upon. Let people make their own decisions. What you can only speak, if you wanted to, the president wanted to campaign for a particular candidate, you should say why that candidate perhaps is a better option than the other, rather than saying that whatever person is standing on a Jubilee ticket should be voted in. It's not right. Again, how did we find ourselves in this situation of independent candidates, a huge number of independent candidates? Because party primaries were not conducted in a democratic manner. So most of those who lost were very popular candidates. Some incumbent governors were pushed out through undemocratic processes, nomination processes during the primaries. So again, you are saying that you made a mistake as a party to nominate the wrong person, and you want the local people to support the same person. You let them now make a decision. Yeah. Until we straighten, or until our system, party system, straightens up nomination processes, this problem will keep on lingering within our country, within our politics. And we hope that as we go to the polls, people will be peaceful and will be able to vote on the basis of issues, not on tribe, because we all suffer as Kenyans when we have bad governance. And therefore, the best we can do as a people is to vote for the best person who can deliver this country, for this country as a whole.
You've wrapped it well, Doctor.
Thank you.
That is good. That is
Welcome.
good. You've wrapped it well.
Welcome.
That's where we'll end it. Thank you very much.
Welcome.